It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Please, won't you be my neighbor? Hi, I'm Mr. President Rogers. What is this? This is my executive power box. As president, the power is vested in me. I enforce the provisions of federal laws and administer a vast federal bureaucracy that spends more than $3 trillion a year and includes 2.7 million civilian employees. Whoa, it's Krispy Kreme!
Krispy Kreme. Hey, President Rogers, I brought you your appointment power. You have the power to appoint all sorts of top-ranking officials, like cabinet members, their aides, heads of independent agencies, ambassadors/diplomats, and all federal judges, U.S. Marshals, and attorneys. But you got to be approved by a majority of the Senate, and it is limited by an unwritten rule known as the senatorial courtesy, where you have to consult state senators before appointing a judge to that state.
Yay! I love it!
Here's your removal power that goes along with it. You have the power to dismiss most of those officials you appoint, but don't forget, you can't dismiss federal judges or commissioners of independent agencies.
Hey kids, it's Moneymaker Mike!
I'm Moneymaker Mike.
Hey kids, it's my cabinet. It holds 14 executive departments, including the Attorney General. These 15 departments employ nearly 2/3 of the civilian employees.
Don't forget about how cabinet members often have divided loyalties. Their loyalty to the president can be undermined by their loyalty to their cabinet. Like when interest groups form close ties with departments, or the careers of their civil servants extend beyond single presidential terms, resulting in a development of a strong loyalty to a department. Congress often competes with the president for influence over cabinet members.
I'll see you later, Moneymaker Mike. Let's go to the neighborhood of make-believe.
Oh, hey, Mr. President Rogers.
I'm so glad you visited us from the White House.
Speaking of the White House, let me tell you about my staff. The White House staff includes key presidential aides like the Chief of Staff and the Press Secretary. Oh, yeah. And of course, the Chief of Staff is the highest ranking member of the executive office of the President. His duties are picking and supervising other White House staff and managing who and what goes into the Oval Office. These staff must be personally loyal to me, and I can appoint or dismiss them without even consulting the Senate.
I wish I lived in the White House.
I bet you also wish you had my powers.
Like what?
Like my legislative powers.
But the Constitution doesn't actually call you the executive legislature.
No, but I can. Give my State of the Union address, bring issues to the attention of Congress, and veto congressional legislation.
Don't you also set the policy agenda? And as a result, initiate much of the legislation Congress considers?
Yep, not to mention my veto power.
What's that?
Well, it is the thing that gives me the presidential options to sign a bill into law, veto a bill, even through Congress, can override it with two-thirds vote from each chamber, or wait a full 10 days. But if does not become a law without my signature, I can also choose to do a pocket veto by waiting 10 days, and if Congress adjourns before those 10 days are up, the bill will become a law.
Wow, that's a lot of power. But does it actually work?
Well, Congress is usually unable to override my veto. In all, less than 10% of presidential vetoes are ever overridden. Also, if I threaten to veto, Congress will change whatever I want. But sometimes after I veto something, they just pass it in another modified form to please me more. The difficult part is the fact that I have to accept or reject a whole bill and not just a portion. Us presidents used to be able to just reject parts of a bill after Congress gave us the right, but just 2 years later, that darn Supreme Court struck it down as unconstitutional.
Oh, so your relationship with Congress must be pretty tight. Huh? Don't you usually have a cooperative bipartisan relationship?
I sure do. I have to use some strategies to influence them too, like working with the majority and minority leaders of Congress, and by using the media to focus public attention on important issues.
You assign legislative liaisons from the executive office of the president to lobby legislators too.
Don't forget about using his approval rating to persuade legislatures to support programs and bargaining with the legislators.
But wait, I thought government was divided.
I'll let them explain that.
We can't understand you, Mr. Mittens.
Let me try to translate
Okay, thank you.
Divided government occurs when the presidency and Congress are controlled by different parties or when the two chambers of Congress are controlled by two different parties. This is a frequent result of elections over the past half century.
This has a number of important consequences, like a heightened partisanship and more difficult moderate negotiation, a slowed legislative process, creating gridlock, and a decline in public trust in the government.
It poses a particular problem for the president in making federal appointments. It causes stricter committee scrutiny and narrows potential candidates, not to mention the character attacks.
You presidents attempt to overcome this problem with strategies like using the media for public support, threatening your veto, making deals with congressional leaders, building coalitions with interest groups, and increasing reliance on White House staff. What about the president's office?
On the Office of Management and Budget, the biggest office of the presidency. My responsibility is to assist the President in overseeing the preparation of the federal budget.
I'm the National Security Council. I'm composed of the main, foreign, and military advisors, including the VP, Secretary of State, Treasury, and Defense, and the National Security Advisor. My main function is to assist the President on national security and foreign policies.
I'm the Council of Economic Advisors. I'm made up of three leading economists that advise the President. We provide the annual economic report for you.
Hey kids, I'm Mr. President Rogers, and I'll see you later, neighbor.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine?
That was impressive,
Would you be mine? Won't
Look where it
you be
landed.
My neighbor.
That just landed on the couch.
You
Like,
please.
not just
Won't
on
you
the couch.
please?
Like the head
Please
of the
won't
couch.
you be
It landed
my
right here.
neighbor? Hi, television neighbor. I'm glad we're together again.
Improv!
Okay, hold on.
Hey kids,
Ryan
I have
has a
some
line
candy
this,
in my truck.
But we're gonna change.